it's so important to remember your beginnings and where it all started, when it was just you and God. For many people, I'd like to believe, I believe that's the testimony of many people, where you've just encountered God and it was just you and God, one-on-one. I had about 2 years where it was just me and God. There was nobody else on this earth. Like, I actually came to the reality that there was no other living person on this earth at that time who could comfort me other than God. God was my best friend. He was my best friend, my father, my mother, my sister, my brother, everything to me. When I had nobody. So there's nothing that I would not give for God, because there's nothing I wouldn't give for God, because he gave it all, and he continues to give it all, just to those who desire it. So I guess if I'm the whole purpose of my ministry is to invite people and to help them experience this love that God has to give, because to be honest, that's all you need. That's all you need. I just, once you experience it, once you really get it, once you deep it, you can hear preachings and things like that, and it's good. They will give you understanding and things like that about God, and all of it is good. It builds you and it builds your character. But that, for me anyway, that love is like a seed, and as it grows roots and it establishes itself, it doesn't really matter what is coming at you. Nothing is strong enough to knock you from your journey. Once you really understand the love of God, once you've really encountered and experienced the love of God, so I'm praying, I'm praying for you guys, anybody that I encounter, anyone that I minister, anyone that I mentor to. I pray that you come to know the love of God is so much greater than any love that a person can bring you. And I know it's easy to say that, because obviously people are physically in front of you and they're physically around you, and it's like, yeah, but I really love that guy, or I really love that girl, and you've got all these feelings that move around inside your body and determine what you'll do when you'll do it. But there is something so much greater, so much deeper, so much longer lasting, everlasting, eternal, that comes with the love of God. It doesn't, if you just read, I think it's 1 Corinthians, when it talks about love, love is patient, love is kind, it does not envy, it does not boast. If you just read it, but read it with the desire to start you on a journey of what that actually means. It's so funny, because you'll put it into practice now, and you will mingle with people, human beings, and these are the same people who, like, they could be blood family, they could be partners or whatever, could be your husband, could be your children, whatever, and everybody just says love, 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 like it just flows out of their mouth so easily. But when you put 1 Corinthians, I think it is 1 Corinthians 14, it's going to irritate me now if I don't get it right. So I pull up my Bible. It's, if you don't put these things to the test and actually see, like, oh yeah, that's true, then you will never be convinced of what I'm talking about. It's 13, sorry. Yeah. First Corinthians 13 from verse 4. If you don't put these things to the test, and you check sometimes, when people be like, yeah, but I love you, and then when challenges come, and then it's like, oh, but you lost your patience, you lost your kindness, you lost and one of the things I love in there as well, it's just the Bible's so true. I can't really say how much it is, but you know, it will say it keeps no record of wrongs. People who say they love each other, you just see the way that the minute something goes wrong, they are like wolves and they just eat each other alive. And it's just like, but I thought you said you loved each other. Something goes wrong, you know, there's a money issue, or there's infidelity, or you know, someone's been, you know, unfaithful or whatever, they've stepped out, and you'll just see, there's no forgiveness, there's no kindness. Like, people just they just switch. And I'm thinking, for humans, love is conditional. That's what it is. It's conditional. With God, it's unconditional. And that's why I thank God so much for exposing me to an unconditional love, pure unconditional love that is untampered, unfiltered, pure, and it's just true, and it's perfect. It doesn't matter what you do. The love of God is just consistent. He never fails. And it is only when you've experienced that love with someone, that when you now are sent out to love people who are full of faults, including you and your own faults, that you're actually able to cover them with your love, because that's what God's love did with the sacrifice of Christ. It completely expunged every wrong that we have done, are doing, will do. It expunged them all. It covered them. So when it says keeps no record of wrongs, that's the love of God. It kept no record of wrongs. By the sacrifice of Christ, we are made clean in front of God. And it is only when you start to really understand that and what that means, that when you're now met with someone who just does something wrong, and as I've said, you know, many times before, forgiveness is hard. Things like, I've said to a friend, I've said to a friend recently, I was talking to a friend recently, and we were talking about humans being liars. By nature, man lies. Mankind lies. Not because they desire to, but just by nature. They can't help themselves. And it's just because they do not have the ability to furnish the things that they desire to do. So, when you understand that, it's so much easier to not hold things against people. But in this world, you know, when people let us down and, you know, they say they want to do something, they don't do it, they don't show up on time, they're not, you know, people are so unforgiving. People are so unforgiving, and they jump to so many conclusions and assumptions, and it's so hard and difficult to watch. And, you know, as I said, once you've encountered the love of God, it's so much easier to not hold certain things to heart, and just things just flow through you, so to speak. You don't hold on to things, but then that makes you seem arrogant, because you think you're better than other people. And it's like, I just don't react like that anymore. But anyway, let me not digress. My main contemplation and desire today was just to share with you that there is a love to be had with God, a love that fills you and makes you whole. And I pray that you encounter that love, and that it blesses your life, and that you receive the hope of Christ from that love, so that you may be encouraged in your journey with God, and you may be filled with strength to continue on your journey, that you are established in that love, so that you will not fail in the day of adversity. Because to be honest, love is everything. God bless you.